I am Pastor John Hildebrand. We want to continue our study. This is lesson number 5. In the previous lessons, we have talked about the beast in the Old Testament. In the book of Daniel, we talked about Babylon, the Medo-Persian, Grecian, and Rome, which is a lion, a bear, a leopard, and a dreadful and terrible. And now we want to talk about the beast, the fifth beast in the New Testament, which is the first one in the New Testament. I want to begin by reading a few verses in the book of Revelation just to make a few points. In the book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 11, "And the beast which was and is not, even he is the eighth, and is of the seven, and goeth into perdition." The point I want to make is that there are only 8 beasts. And the next point I want to make is in Revelation chapter 13 and verse 1. So the point I want to make here is simply to connect the beast from Revelation to Daniel. "And I stood up on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy." So I want you to pay close attention. This is the beast of Revelation chapter 13, New Testament. And I want to show you that John is connecting the beast of Revelation to the book of Daniel. I want you to remember what we saw in the book of Daniel as we read verse 2 of Revelation 13. "And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard," which is this beast right here, the Grecian kingdom. If you look at the beast, it's like a leopard. "His feet were as the feet of a bear." You see the feet are the feet of a bear. When we look at the beast, the second beast in the Old Testament was a bear. "And his mouth as a mouth of a lion," which was the first beast in the Old Testament. So it's not very hard to believe that the book of Revelation is connecting the beast from Revelation to Daniel. So when we start counting the beast of Revelation 17, where it talks about the 8th beast, we know that we are right, that we're starting from the book of Daniel, when Daniel had visions and dreams, and he saw the wind strive upon the great sea, and 4 great beasts came out, and he says the first was a lion. What he was saying, he was prophetically saying that the first of the 8 beasts is a lion, the second is a bear, the third is a leopard, the fourth is a dreadful and terrible. So that's very clearly seen in these verses. Now, we want to go over into the New Testament. So this is the New Testament, this is the Old Testament. So we have the 4 beasts of the Old Testament which we have covered. The 4th one being Rome. We know when we read history and read the New Testament, we know that Jesus was born during this time, and he brought about the new covenant. We know that when he started preaching, he called his apostles, and this is where the New Testament began, the church age. So in this time period, we have a different beast, which the Bible tells us is a dragon. Now, I want you to remember things I've already said. Whether we talk about the leopard, the bear, the lion, or the dragon, we always got to remember this symbol right here. It doesn't matter which beast we talk about, it's always the same beast. It's always the old serpent. It's the generation of the serpent, of vipers. We got to remember that. Sometimes people read the New Testament, Old Testament, talks about different beasts, and then they start getting confused as to what it is. And it's always the same thing. It just shows the body of beastly behavior of people in different time periods. That's all that is doing. It's very simple. We might do a lesson on beasts, how men are beasts. But I think anybody that reads the Bible can clearly see that the Bible refers to people as beasts all the time. So when we read about the different beasts, it just shows the different bodies of beastly behavior during different time periods of the Old Testament, and now we're in the New Testament. So when the church began, we have a verse in Revelation chapter 12 in verse 3 where it says, "And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head." This is the first beast in the New Testament. This beast was exactly where the woman gave birth to the man-child, which is the beginning of the church age, and I will cover this in a different study. But this is what that is. Now, another point I want to make, and I feel like this is probably one of the most important points I will make, because a lot of people do not believe that the dragon is the fifth beast. They believe that this dragon in Revelation 12 and the dragon in Revelation 21, which is the same one, they believe it's the devil himself, and that is not true. He calls them in Revelation 20, he calls the dragon that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan. And people believe that's actually the devil himself. That's not the devil himself. This is a body of people that are behaving and obeying the serpent that was tempting Adam and Eve 4,000 years ago. That's all that is saying. That old serpent. That's why Jesus told the Pharisees, ye serpents. He was saying exactly the same thing. John picks up that in the book of Revelation, says, the devil, the old serpent, which is the devil. Basically saying the same thing, a generation of vipers, referring to beastly people, people that were behaving like beasts. So it's very simple. It's not complicated. There will never be a time when the devil himself will be bound by some angel in chain, whatever people teach nowadays, that's going to happen in the 1,000-year reign or before the 1,000-year reign. This is simply showing a body of people. So the fifth beast the dragon belongs here, and that's the fifth beast. This is a very important point I want to make. Now, I want to make a point here just to prove that the dragon belongs between the fourth beast, which is the last beast in the Old Testament, and the beast in Revelation 13, which is the sixth beast that we just read about. Now, I want to go back to the same verse and simply prove one simple point, and that is, and I feel like this is the most important point of this lesson, to prove that the dragon belongs or is number 5. Now remember, in the book of Daniel, we had 4 different beasts. And we read the scripture in Revelation 13, which we're going to read again. And the beast which I saw, is this one right here, was like unto a leopard, okay, and his feet as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. You see, he's connecting this beast to all the beasts in the Old Testament. And then he goes on to say, and this is the most important point, and the dragon, which we read about in chapter 13, gave him his seat and great authority. So this beast came after this beast. It says this beast was connected to the beast in the Old Testament. And then he goes on to say, and he got his power and seat from the dragon, which means this beast operated before this beast did. And this verse proves that this beast, these 4 beasts, and this beast all operated before this beast did. And that's a very important point I want to make in this lesson. So by these verses, we can clearly see that this is number 5. So in the next lesson, we will cover number 6. So this is Judaic heathenism, which in the New Testament, when we read where Jesus was born, he grew up, he started preaching, we deal with this beast right here. This was the time period where the Pharisees, which Jesus called them the old serpent, which is the devil. All right? He called them a generation of serpents. These people were serpents, which the book of Revelation calls the dragon a serpent, the old devil. So this is very, very obvious and very clear that the Jewish nation, especially the elite, they spearheaded the persecution against Christ. So it was a body of people which was spearheaded by the Jewish elite that persecuted Christ. And so the Bible shows us that body of people, which included every unbeliever, everyone that didn't believe in the Messiah. And the Bible calls that the fifth beast. So it's a body of unbelievers. So in the next lesson, we will cover the sixth beast, and we will go into more details. So may the Lord bless you, and we'll see you next time.